Alright, welcome to episode 9, I believe. I hope I'm not saying that wrong. Episode 9 of History Rewritten. In last episode, we saw the Sludge Nation absolutely collapse. They are pretty much gone now. And in fact, I think I'm going to just change their border slightly, because I was going to do something to them. But in the end, I did not. And that is add an exclave. We haven't had a single exclave in history of the world. So I think, during the chaos of the breakup of one of the world's largest nations, an exclave might be the perfect thing to add. We also saw independence for Wales and Cornwall, so, they're in the world now. And the Breton Empire is kind of falling apart, which it's a shame, but it really wasn't that big, and they really couldn't hold on to it either. So, meh. It probably wasn't the biggest loss in the world. So yeah, the world, or especially Europe, is looking a lot more filled in. And we might have more discovery of Northern Europe and Ireland in today's episode, and possibly further into Asia, thanks to the Green Team, or India. And maybe even another huge war. Who knows? I'm just going to destroy Europe even more, I think. But anyway, starting it off, we're in Britain. Because there's a lot of things going on in Britain. I think last time I said shaman religion in this area. I meant druid. I meant druidic sort of thing, not shaman. Shaman doesn't sound quite right for the aesthetic. It's more like, if you know Celtic religions and stuff, it's more like that. Spirits and things. So they've captured the Orkney and Shetland Islands, and they've discovered the Faroes. And the Faroes were discovered like 790, I think, by Irish hermits. We're not quite there, but they've probably discovered the Faroes by now, just sailing around. The Brown Team are going to do more colonialism, as their Norwegian and Swedish colonies are steadily growing in power. I think going that far into Norway is a bit unrealistic, at least at the moment. But this area of southern Sweden's alright, so they're able to colonize quite a lot of that, and make their way all the way to the other coast. So yeah, I mean, this Estonian nation, I think, have a few more northern territories than this colony, so theoretically they should be able to colonize this far north. But beyond this, it's going to get pretty tricky. However, Sweden's a lot easier than Norway, because Norway's got a whole load of mountains. So, yeah. Varying the entire oceans of the world. The island of Gotland with that, as they managed to pick that up. This sort of like barren nation, the one I gave the exclave to, they claimed Gotland, but their power is nothing compared to the Terracotta Nation's power, which at the moment stretches all over northwestern Europe, and they are a very dominant force over here. Yeah, the Sludge Nation is just so long. Like, it should not look good for Sludge. However, Purple Team. The Purple Team did suffer quite a loss recently, as they lost this colony and lost loads more territories over in that area, as well as Balearic Islands and stuff, and a few cities in the north to the Yellow Nation, who's been growing steadily stronger. However, they're going to invest in more stuff, they're going to do more trade along here. If we look at trade routes, I haven't really thought about those because I wanted to set up another layer to show trade routes, but if you make a layer, then it puts. Sorry. It just puts the screen that it would be currently, so even if you update the map, it won't update the layer, and that's the problem. And you can't update the map, like the current map, under the layer. However, trade routes through this area, you've got probably go through here, into tiny bit of Greece, and just up the Dalmatian coast, into Istria, then down by Peterborough, probably up the other Italian coast. And you've got these mountains here, but they've got really no other choice. So, go north of the Pyrenees into the big capital. Probably got stuff going up this coast, all the way around here. And I think I'm underestimating the Crimean country a bit. because I do keep saying they're quite weak, but commerce are nothing that bad. And then this will go down to here. You've got these Caucasian mountains, but they'll probably be able to manage this. So that's kind of what the trade routes of the world look like. Of course, there's other roads that people take to trade. Like, you know, we would just go up the Euphrates River to this bit. But this is like an official trade route with inns and places all along it. And you can see it does follow the cities. Like, there's a minor road that goes down to the boot, like the end of the foot of Italy. And there's probably another bit that goes down this Greek coast. And they're working on stuff for Iberia. But Iberia is really sparse, so probably missed, especially this country. Because you want to get this one, this purple one, you also want to get this grey one, so it's a difficult problem, but, you know, they're working on it. So, there we go. Anyway, green team. In green country, we'll be expanding further into Kazakhstan, as they're entirely invested now in just travelling eastwards. So they got loads of horses, and they make their way to this huge lake, sea. Probably a lake. It looks like Lake Baikal, but Lake Baikal is right over there. It's significantly more northern. But they'll get there eventually, I suppose. So green team now looks quite ugly and long. But, oh well. That's the price of discovering Asia. At least northern Asia. So yeah, sorry about that. Disgustingness. Anyway, Lime Team expansion. These guys are now definitely a regional power. I might do power rankings, or at least try and tell myself to do power rankings. Because it's gonna get switched up at the end of today's episode, I think. These borders are gonna look really terrible, but there's something we can do about that. See, the Lime Team has loads of influence around all of these other Indian countries, because it's just states that moved here to be more like the Lime Team. So they're effectively just Lime Team copies, but they're not as strong as them because they don't have the same sort of coast. I'd say the strongest out of all these countries is probably the yellow one down here in Sri Lanka, but they're not really, none of them great. There's also a major city on this island. Yes, that's one over here. But I can't show it, so just remember that it's there, I suppose. It's like the Chagos archipelago, I believe. Anyway, the yellow country I was just speaking of is going to expand further in Sri Lanka. Or Ceylon, however you want to call it. So, we have that. And they also expand around the southern coast to this area. So, I mean, they're a relatively big country. It's just their trade is extremely limited. It's like Orange Team, Somalian country, and the Red and the Lime country. So, they haven't got a load of choices. I think. Is it Fire Valley? No. Doesn't look bad though. Yeah, there's just so many colours now I have to deal with. 50. Okay. Alright, so these guys, they're going to take up the last bit down here. And also do some more expansion north. Before the Lime Team can take it. Because that's their ambition. Just to grab up as much Indian territory as they can. The Brown Team's going to start the Lime Team from going over here. It's not really that, like, out of hate or to try and stop the Lime Team or anything. It's just because they want the land. As you can see, this country only has 2 major cities, whilst the Lime Team has almost infinite. But one here. Tons of them. More than I can count. So, yeah. Anyway, some pretty big Indian nations now. And they will be very important. I mean, if they survive all the way to the modern era, they could possibly become, like, top 10 countries. So that's exciting for them, although they don't know that. So yeah, Lime Team just looks horrific, mainly because of the red country. They're just ruining it for me. So that's a shame. Anyway, yeah, as I was saying, the Purple Team, they've become an awful lot stronger as they have more trade with Europe, and they're even now managing to trade with the Terracotta Nation, stealing a whole load of different supplies. And they're also forming more alliances with countries such as the Sludge Nation, who they've become significantly good friends with, and also even the Red Team a bit, and the Light Blue Team down here in Turkey. For, just no reason really. I don't think there's any real major reason to it. That can be explained. I don't know why there would be a reason to it at all. Why would they even have a reason for that? So the Estonian nation is going to continue going north because they're just kind of proving to everyone that they can. And also their spirits told them to. So, yeah. They're kind of led by a council of druid dudes. Of course, they're not called the Council of Druid Dudes, but you know what I mean. And they discover that the best way to receive messages from these spirits is through consuming mysterious herbs. I mean, that's crazy. So yeah, if you really want to see spirits, consuming mysterious herbs is a great way to do it. So that's their main magical method. Yes, like, the leadership in this country is high. It's not a great country in terms of knowing what's actually going on. Anyway, background to one of our most impoverished nations. This one. This weird little grey one. They're going to continue expanding up this river as they just go even longer and even colder. So, fun for them, I suppose. They are also going to try to stop the Brown Nation from expanding anymore, as they expand a tiny bit. So yeah, I guess these two kind of have a slight bit of enmity, but it's not that bad. And they could definitely, the Brown team could definitely just destroy this Grey Nation in a war. It wouldn't be an easy war because the Grey Nation's territory is just horrible to live in, but they could win that war. However, they don't really have any reason to, so they're not going to. Yet. Who knows? Anyway, Brown team's now entirely holden. But yeah, at least at the moment, power rankings, it's Red team, followed by the Yellow team, and then very closely followed by the Purple team. Let's see a significant gap to the Blue team, and then number 5, it's the Orange country. Then probably Crimea. After that, maybe Pink Nation in France. Then like Grenada to the Terracotta Nation. Maybe it's Terracotta then Grenada. I mean, after that, it's up to your own interpretation. I mean, you can decide how strong you think the countries are. I can tell you that a few countries aren't that strong, but yeah. So, when the Purple team declares war on the Yellow team, nobody's entirely sure who's going to win this war. And you heard that right, we're having another huge war today. So, the Purple team decided to declare war on the Yellow team. Was that a good idea? Not really. But they're eager to get back their lands, and they've been building a lot of stuff, and getting a lot of aid from other countries. So they've been recently importing loads of weaponry and stuff. They formed alliances with all these countries. This guy controls Germany, and these mountains and stuff. So they've been getting a lot of ores, they've been building weapons and armor, so the Purple team is really kitted out. They have lost some of their huge population areas up here, but they've still got some others down in the south, in France, where the Appalachian Mountains aren't. And like Sicily, Sardinia, Corsica. They have quite a lot of territory, and there's a few sort of like the Purple team sympathizers in Grey Spanish country, Catalonian one, the French one, the Swiss one, That's about it, but you know, there's a few people who are also joining to help fight, and mercenaries that they've paid from. Where do we get mercenaries from? Probably Sludge Nation. It's a pretty mercenary country. So the Purple Team is going to send its troops out at the start of this war and encircle this area, leading to them recapturing this city. And the city's generally alright with that, although a lot of stuff has been put towards these cities. Most of it's gone to this city, and you know, they're still pretty Purple Team Italian ethnic cities. Although it's been like a century, maybe a bit less. You know, somewhere around a century since these cities were captured by the Yellow Team. But you know, so the Yellow Team's kind of like, whoa, hey, it's just uncalled for. As the Purple Team sends more troops out into these areas and even into the mountains, because the Yellow Team was really not expecting this. They were completely unprepared. So they're going to advance further into, I think this is still Italy, but down towards Slovenia sort of area, and they're trying to encircle this area. However, it's going to be extremely difficult, as there's a huge load of economic stuff and population around here, and the Yellow Team's pretty good at forcing people to do stuff that they don't want to do. So it's not too hard for the Yellow Team to get a load of people to go and destroy this front line, and it means that this area is also encircled and taken down. However, whilst the people are up there, the Purple Team is taking the advantage to taking time to launch a few naval invasions into the coast of the Yellow Team. However, there's a fair spread of major cities around this area, so it's going to be quite tricky. However, they managed to take one of the cities down here in the south, which is just like, there's nothing else out here for ages. So they managed to capture this city, and from there they managed to capture a whole load more territory. And this is going to lead to another country joining the war. And I mean, who do you think is going to join this war? Is it going to be? I mean, there's a lot of countries bordering. This purple, this blue one, this yellow one, Sludge Nation. You know, they want revenge. The Swiss Nation, the northern Greek country, the southern Greek country, the red team, or the blue team. Of course, it's the Sludge Nation who wants to regain something. No, it's northern Greece. Nope. These guys, there were no troops lined up on this border, so it's really easy for them to just start pushing in to Yellow Team territory, and now they have to worry about the second front. There's a major city down here, like Thessaloniki area. However, the red team manages to take the city by bombarding it with ships in the Aegean, so they've captured a huge economic area of the Yellow Team, and they're going to continue into these central areas with help from Purple Team troops, who are significantly stronger, well supplied, and morale boosted, I suppose, since they've taken all of this from the Yellow Team, which is going to lead the Yellow Team to divert some of its stuff from all these coasts down here to try and remove the front line from this area and take the Italians out of this huge area. However, you know, it's pretty hard to fight this two-front war for the Yellow Team, as the Italians managed to capture this city and then do surprise attacks along the Swiss border. It's almost as if the Swiss country was letting the Purple Team send its people through the country for a fair share of money. As if the fact that the Swiss country has one major city meant that it's very susceptible to bribes. Who knows though, it's just conspiracy. And the Sludge Nation as well seems to be a great place for Italian troops to mysteriously appear. Don't know, it's bizarre. Although by the... what colour is this? Yellow mold. Stinky cheese coloured country. They find less success in mysterious supplies just appearing. However, they link up these two new front lines, and it's not going well for the Yellow Team. But don't worry, they're going to enlist one of their very few allies. As over here in the Yellow Country, these guys, they love the Yellow Country. It's a great country, isn't it? So they're also going to join this war and try and deal with the Italians in the north. And also maybe just send troops to deal with all this, because, you know, there's not a lot of Italians in the northern part of this country, at least at the moment, but there are a lot of Italians by the coast and in the southern areas, and Greeks. So the Greeks are doing quite well with this. They managed to take this front line down and significantly weaken this one. But it's not entirely going to stop the Italians though. So we have walking like this. They're going to leave. I can't talk. They're going to take some of their forces from this northern area, since the yellow team is advancing into that bit, and there's nothing they can really do to stop those because their forces are very spread out, and instead move down the south towards Slovenia and Croatia. They managed to encircle this area, so people from this city flee, and they go to the Istrian one, leaving this city free for the taking for the Italian country. So they sack that city, but you know, the mustard country is going for them. They managed to remove this front line, and it looks like they're trying to push the Italians out of the north of the country. However, that's not really the bit they're worried about. Yeah, the coast is a lot more plentiful. There's a lot more stuff you can get from there. So the Italians are moving once again to encircle another major city along the coast, and it's this Croatian Istrian one now. Yeah, Istria is this bit of Croatia. It's like the only separatist region I can find in Croatia, so that's interesting. However, with the help of this mustard nation, the yellow team are doing significantly better on protecting its front. And this means they can divert more attention to stopping the Greeks and the southern Italians. More Italians have been leaving the Greek front to help up in the north against the mustard nation. So it's not looking great for the Greeks, and it's very possible that they're going to lose control of their other major city. However, they might not. With the new Italian forces coming back from the south, and having just fought in this really easy area to beat down here, because there was literally nothing out there. This is the definition of rural. There is no urban areas here. These people have quite high morale, and they managed to capture the Istrian city. So now Italy's captured 4 different cities, and they send their forces up to the border of the mustard nation as they enclose off this bit, and then more forces appear in this area, and in the end, mustard team advances against Italy aren't looking amazing. The Italians begin to pour into the country, and it's not going well for the mustard nation. They've kind of turned their attention away from the yellow team, and are now just focusing on taking down their ally. They managed to capture this major city, and then the sludge team is going to move in and declare a war on the mustard nation, just so they can grab some extra land. Not on the yellow team. They don't want to get involved in this huge war. They've just been really crippled after losing a whole load of major cities and people. But they would still like to grab up some land. So their troops come in through this northern area, and it's a whole lot of territory. It's a lot of stuff. And the mustard nation is not coping well. Further reinforcements for the sludge nation come from this blue country, and their own little bit. So they move in after this, and eventually the mustard nation is just really looking like it's going to fall apart. Yellow team troops don't arrive in the mustard nation. The yellow team was kind of just like, thanks for giving us a diversion. That was all you ever were to us. And that's a bit mean, but it's right. It's completely true. As the yellow team has now been able to push the Italians and the Greeks out of the southern area, and they're even making their way into Greece. It's not good if you're Greek. They move in after a few major cities, and it's a good thing the Greek capital isn't so far north, and this major city and also this one are captured. The southern Greek country is now sending resources to go help their northern ally. However, it's not always getting there, as yellow team scouts and explorers and stuff are already in the countryside of the red team, so it's not looking good. But no, they're not fighting in Africa yet. Now the Mustard Nation has been subdued, it's going to allow Purple Team troops to pass through their territory and establish another new front around here. So, yeah, I do have to worry once again. The Blue Team over here is also going to declare war. They capture another major city, and now the northern area of the Yellow Team is really just abandoned. It's not looking good for the Yellow Team. And that is going to get shown in some of their most important economic areas. As once this blue Turkish nation joins, because they're fearing collapse. You know, Crete wants its independence, and these islands also really want to join. There's been a few minor rebellions in the country, so they want to try and bring about the old success that they've shown previously. And they're going to invade into the south. Now, this is a pretty major economic area of the Yellow Team, so despite the fact, you know, they're in a war, they will actually manage to push into the Blue Team. So they are slightly winning, but not really. Also just realising it's not like that. The Greek nation is entirely captured now, so they've taken down another one of their enemies. You know, the fact that the Blue Team's losing out here is further enforcing rebellions within the country. And they managed to encircle this city, take that down. However, you know, the Blue Team, they became friends with a certain country due to the fact they were scared. However, that certain country has decided, you know, we're going to look after our tiny ally down here in Turkey. And the Red Team's going to send stuff towards the Blue Team to try and help them out. So this means that Red Team troops pour into this area and go and attack the front line. So yeah, they were completely caught off guard out there in the Yellow Team by Turkey and what's called Istanbul, and they did not think this was going to happen. So some people who aren't even like soldiers, they're just people living out here because they're nationalists, and there's a load of population in this area, are going to retreat back up into the north of their country. As, you know, the Red Team's not entirely in this war, they're more just helping out the Blue Team. But if the Red Team wanted, they could capture Constantinople. And that has a huge fear in this area of the Yellow Team. So keep your mind on that. The Purple Team is going to continue pushing into these more rural areas, even go down here and separate this bit, capture this major city, and it's really not looking good. The fact is that people at this point in time aren't great people. There's no like United Nations, although there probably won't ever be United Nations in this series. It would be cool to think different. So currently they have to obey laws. So when the Purple Team goes into a city, they're allowed to do whatever in the world they want to do to those people. And most of the time, that's just savagely, brutally beat them to death. So, in fear of this fate, people down here in the south are going to declare their independence. This is most definitely not the rich dudes within the country saying, yep, we're an independent state now, yep. Definitely not just us trying to save ourselves from dying. Don't worry. And they're also going to declare war on their parent nation, the Yellow Team. So there you go, new country in Istanbul. And it's kind of a bummer for the Blue Team. They're hoping to gain more land, but you know, they could just declare war on this new nation over here. But they're just instead going to ask for concessions from them, as the Red Team's already agreed to give them this stuff. Because, you know, they like the Blue Team, they want to make them stronger. And the Blue Team also take this territory from them, so yeah. And they get this stuff back, as all the Yellow Team troops in the area end up leaving. And, however, despite all of this, the Yellow Team still is pretty confident they can win. There's a rebellion in the Greek country, and they manage to save the city and protect that. Even the people down here in the sandy colored nation are going to go up to help their sibling nation. So they push against the front lines and liberate another one of the cities of this Greek nation. So all this now saved. Although the Greek nation's still not entirely back to its former strength, they are still pushing, and that's what really matters. Anyway, up in the north, it's still steadily going terribly for the yellow team. Why do I keep doing that to the ocean? As even more swathes of this northern territory is taken by the purple team. And finally, after the Greek areas are liberated, the Greeks manage to capture this city, go up here. The rebellion in the rich areas defeated. They link up these fronts. This city's captured. That's their last major city. And finally, after a load of fighting and eventually losing, the yellow team is going to agree to peace. They are still really annoyed though. They feel really distraught that everyone's just ganged up on them, and the Mustard Nation did absolutely nothing. I mean, they told them they were a distraction. And then they distracted for a really short amount of time. The Mustard Nation was terrible at being a distraction. Should not get the Mustard Nation to be a distraction anymore. But regardless, there you go. Bigger Greece. That's cool. I like the Greek nation. So now, huge Greece. I'll fix that in a sec. Well, also, this peace treaty might possibly take absolutely ages, so it can be fun to do that. Blue Nation has gathered a few things, and people in its country are feeling slightly more nationalistic, more proud to be in the Blue Nation, but some of the richer folk and the aristocracy and whatever are still pointing out the fact that the only reason they didn't get absolutely annihilated was because the red team came and saved them. Red team troops came in and stopped them from being absolutely obliterated. So yeah, maybe that's true, because it is absolutely true. They got saved by the red team. And there's some people who are saying the blue team is just falling apart now, which is relatively true. So even the rebellion manages to gain some land, even though it's not really a proper rebellion, but oh well. Mustard Nation's not doing great. They're not really what people are interested in. It's more taking land from the yellow team people are interested in. So Sludge Nation are trying to make a comeback, which they're kind of meh. It's not the same. It's just Czechoslovakia, but if it was all of Europe. That's really what we have going on here. So they go, blue team, they're going to get some land. They're really new. They were formed last episode, but they're still ready to go for war after they were in an independence war last episode. And I have to fix all the cities. No. Why? Why? Why did I have to make it yellow? Oh. Yeah, Mustard Nation's just not having a good day. They were in an independence war last episode, and then they've got obliterated, so that's great. Italy, though, this is the best day of Italian life. They weren't that bad enemies with the yellow team at the start, but now, after the yellow team took a load of their land, and they've been arguing over Adriatic dominance, trade being similar, the yellow team claiming they own the purple team, stuff like that. Eventually it got to the purple team, and they decided, tell you what, we're going to go to war. And after strengthening their position, gaining a load of land, weapons, armor, stuff like that, just generally power, they went to that war. And it's gone extremely successfully It's gone extremely successfully for the Purple Nation. So now they could become one of the top world powers. I mean, they already were, but it's guaranteed now that the Purple team is going to become the #2 world power, and the Yellow team is going to fall really far. I actually want to count how many nations we have. Like an average of 4 nations per episode, which is pretty good. However, in recent episodes, we've been significantly more. Because in the last episode, we got 6 or something. That's pretty good. Well chuffed with that. But obviously not the entire Yellow Nation is not going to go to Italy. I've not actually destroyed a nation ever this entire series, so it's going to be quite sad when the first nation to be destroyed actually comes around. But don't worry, it'll probably just be someone completely insignificant. Yeah, new borders of the purple team. It is quite literally just the entire Balkan coast. As for some of the purple team's allies, the Swiss nation, they were gifted another major city. It may be a yellow team major city, so it's not amazing. But now they have even more long nations in Europe. I think, really, I need to just break apart more European nations, because they're all just incredibly long. Oh, the French one. The French one looks like France, and I'm fine with that. We have a few more bits. I don't know what to do with this bit. Man, the yellow team can have that back. I'll tell you what. This blue sympathizer nation probably got supplied by the actual blue team, so I'm going to gift this to them. There you go, blue team, looking even stronger. They might own the Black Sea soon, who knows? But it's like, you know, in our history, Sweden tried to become the only country with borders on the Baltic Sea, making it to a Baltic lake, which they nearly achieved. Like the Pomeranian stuff they owned in Germany, Livonia, which is basically just Estonia, owning Finland. Like, people seem to forget the fact that Sweden used to own Finland, which is a strange fact. But and the yellow team, I'm going to split into two. So we have North Yellow team and South Yellow team. I'm going to try and actually give them good borders. Let's see if we can do that. Shall we? That's alright. So the yellow team have lost their capital, and the southern area is going to become the actual yellow team, whilst the southern... what colour do I make it? Red, orange, yellow, green. You could add green, but I think I'm going to get quite a few new green nations relatively soon. Who knows? I don't know. There's a lot of colours in the world. You could make it a shade of yellow. That's a potential choice. It's like a light blue thing, maybe. I'm sorry if you can't see this. Hey, what? Yeah, fine, we'll do this colour. That looks quite cool. Actually, no, it looks too cool for this nation. There you go. Right, here is our newest European state. It looks like salmon. You'll probably become the salmon nation. But yeah, the yellow team, how the mighty have fallen. They were once the second strongest country in the world, and now they don't even have a major city anymore, or a coastline, or quite literally anything of value. So we're going to have to give them a major city. I don't know. Where would you say a major city would be? Right in the middle, you know. There you go. And I'll sort out all the other cities relatively soon. I need to... God, this video is long. Crikey. I was going to do a few more things. I think I'll leave that for next time. You know, we need stuff to do next time. Major cities, I can do them relatively quickly. I should stress the fact that not everyone's going to receive major cities in every episode. Just a few people. Purple team's already received a load. They'll be fine. No. Let's go back. Even Cornwall's gonna get one, which is cool. Out here in Scotland, there's a mass gathering of people, and also in this area of Scotland, in Aberdeen. So there you go. I'm kind of hoping for a cup of tea, but that cup of tea has not arrived, so there's a shame. I like cups of tea. Ozel, I think that's a northern one, but also I probably butchered the pronunciation of that. Why do the Scandinavians, like the Russian letters don't look like our letters, or most of them. I mean they do, wait, they look different. Scandinavian letters, a good deal of them look the same as the letters English use, and then they're pronounced entirely differently. I can deal with like J being pronounced like a Y, stuff like that, but then meh. It's irritating. It's not that bad, really. I like Scandinavian languages. It's cool. Yeah, the blue Crimea sympathizer nation has just done incredibly well for itself. Like, annexing 2 more cities. Just out there. Although it does have an exclave. You know what, let's make the exclave actually important. There we go. You get a major city in there. Crimean team I feel like I haven't shown much love recently. So you get that. And that. I like the Crimean nation. Crimea's cool. That's a mustache. What did I do? There we go. Grey one. No, you're poor. I feel like the green team needs something out here. So put one by this lake. Then, if we go down to India, these guys probably need some. Because they're developing now. This will even give the Indian green team a few major cities. And there you go. Orange team. You gonna do anything cool? Probably not. After just losing Somalia, they kind of just went, nope. No, I'm not doing anything anymore. Gonna sit there and do absolutely nothing. But they have been working on stuff. Like, boats, religious texts, stuff like that. Not really military. The red team, by an extremely long shot, has the best military. Economy, there's a lot of countries who have good economies, but the red team is winning in that. Purple team has a good military, good economy. The blue team, good military, good economy. Orange team, though, they do a lot of trade. They're more of an import-based country. It's like China does lots of exports, that's how it makes its money, but I think I'd say for the orange team, it's more like internal makes money. I'm not entirely sure if that makes sense, but eh. Oh well. Anyway, that's about it. Sorry if this nation. Now the sludge team's in the long nation. This video is a bit long. I think there's going to be a major war in the next episode unless I get some revelation or something. So it should be significantly shorter. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe to the video. Have a nice rest of your day, and I'll see you again next time. Thank you.